and welcome to International Focus Nigeria with me, Green Ndume. Today we will be speaking to Bashoru Dele Momodu, publisher of Ovation magazine, known all over Africa as the inventor of Celebrity magazine. He's a Nigerian of great repute and needs only very little introduction in the international community. Bashoru, you're welcome to International Focus Nigeria.
Thank you for inviting me.
Nice to meet you here in Accra, Ghana.
Yes.
Now, straight to the point, we would want to know, first of all, Bashoru, what were your vision? What were those things that made you want to be the president of Nigeria?
Well, I would say I've been in politics since 1982. But my political activity was restricted to trying to get the best materials for my country. I was like a producer. I was like a Don Jazzy behind the bench. You see the singer, but you don't see the producer. Unfortunately, we tried to produce good music, but every time we ended up with poor music. And it got to a stage where I said, okay, instead of grumbling and lamenting like Jeremiah, why don't I then do it? A lot of times we complain that Miss Ghana is ugly, Miss Nigeria is ugly. You have a beautiful daughter at home and you say your daughter cannot contest. So I see politics like that. The biggest mistake we made was to think we could leave politics in the hands of truants, of incompetent people, of area boys. And then we're complaining that they are misleading us. You cannot give what you don't have. So I looked at what I'd been able to do, my modest contribution in the area of journalism and so on, and I felt, okay, if these guys are not doing it well, then those of us who feel we can do it better must come out. I mean, at a risk to everything, risk to our business, risk to even our lives. I came out, and I'm happy I did, because I learned very new things that I probably would not have known if I sat back at home. And today I'm better for it. And I hope that one day Nigeria will get the right leaders that the country deserves.
Now, we'll go back to your presidential ambition later on this program. Now, you were one of the frontrunners of the June 12th presidential election that was later annulled by Ibrahim Babangida. How have you come to terms with that particular incident as a politician and as a Nigerian?
Well, in life, I mean, you have to move on every time. You are bound to face disappointments every now and then. In 1993, I was one of the media campaigners for one of the presidential candidates, Chief Moshood Abiola, who was also my adopted father. And we were not happy that we won an election and the so-called cabal in Nigeria refused to allow the man to take power. I was one of the first people they put in detention. I was in a poor state at Alagbo detention camp in Lagos. Thereafter, Chief Abiola himself was arrested and he died in prison. In 1995, I was forced into exile. For 3 years, I couldn't enter my country. And that was when I discovered Ghana on my way into exile. Because I had to escape through the bush into Cotonou, from Cotonou to Lomé, then to Accra in July 1995. And I got to London. We thought Abacha was going to calm down or God was going to fix him. But for 3 years, that never happened. But one day we woke up and the man was dead. 1 month after, my father was also dead. Chief Abiola died in prison. And I had to go back to Nigeria to continue the struggle. Unfortunately, what we fought for is not what we are seeing.
Do you think that that June 12th experience has, in a way, enhanced our democratic credentials as a country?
I'm not sure that the set of politicians we have learned much. You see, because on June 12th, Nigerians came together as one. Nigerians forgot about ethnicity, Nigerians forgot about religion, Nigerians forgot about all those primordial sentiments that has kept us down. And I believe that if Nigeria is going to move forward, we must go back to those days of June 12th when we all worked as one. Because an average Nigerian wants to live in peace. An average Nigerian is very brilliant. Go anywhere in the world, Nigerians are doing great things. There is no country I've been, and I mean, without sounding immodest, I must have traveled to about 60 or more countries. everywhere you will find a Nigerian as a lawyer, as a doctor, as an engineer, and they're always on top. But the issue of leadership is what I believe has kept us down. And everywhere you go, wherever 2 or 3 Nigerians are gathered, they are talking about Nigeria. It tells you that we love our country, we're patriotic people.
Now, a sharp contrast comes here. You have said that you have traveled to over 60 countries. That's no doubt. You are regarded as the Nigerian personality who never sleeps, who keeps answering phone calls. And now, with your experience in the diaspora, and yet Nigeria, our image in the international community is consistently battered. Now, despite this contribution that we have made in several sectors of the human society, it seems not to be paying us any good. What do you think is the result? What do you think is the cause of this incident?
I will answer with an African proverb. If there are no cracks on the wall, lizards will not enter. Because we have cracks in the wall. So lizards, rodents, wall geckos must come and play with us. They must disrespect us. If we put our houses in order, I can assure you that Nigeria, and that is why people ask me, why do you want to be president? Because what is wrong with...
Do you think our house is not in order now?
No. You see, the problem is not with the multitude. People think, oh, it's the followers who are not fighting, it's the followers. No. A country is led by only one man with vision. That's it. If the day you have that number one, I will tell you the way Chief Abiola used to put it. He says, if you want to know if a fish is bad, smell the head. If the head is rotten, the whole body is gone. So what we need today is just that number one. Go and read the history of the world. If you go to China, you would have heard of a man called Chairman Mao. If you go to Singapore, you would have heard of a man called Lee Kuan Yew. If you go to Ghana, you must have heard of Jerry Rawlings. If you go, to France, you would have heard of Charles de Gaulle. If you go to Great Britain, you would have heard of Winston Churchill. And that is it. There is always a leader in history who will change the course of events.
Now, you are mentioning a whole lot of leaders all over the world. And now, let's look at the current president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan. Do you think he is the right man to be at the helm of affairs in a country of 160 million people at this time?
If I thought he was, I wouldn't have contested against him.
But you lost that election.
Yeah, that's the decision. That's due to the collective wisdom of the people who voted.
Despite the division you had for the country.
It doesn't matter. You see, life is not always 1 + 1. The fact that you lost an election does not mean you were not a better candidate. There are always many factors, most times extraneous factors that you and I don't know. The way I describe it is that my country is a mafia nation. While you and I are sleeping and snoring, some people are busy plotting.
Now,
that's what happens. They don't sleep. These guys in the night, they are there.
I want to ask you the next question. But before I do that, we'll take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we'll give you more. It's still International Focus Nigeria IFM with me, Green Ndume. And still on the show today is Basharun Dele Momodu. Chief, you're welcome back again.
Thank you very much.
Now, you said that if President Jonathan were a better candidate, you wouldn't have contested. Now, the Deputy National Chairman of your former party, the Labour Party, and I'm talking about Dr. Joseph Akinlaja, said the reason why they did not give you the platform to contest on the stand of the Labour Party was because they didn't think you were a serious candidate before you went to the National Conscience Party of Gani Pawayemi. And now you say that you think if Jonathan was a better candidate, you wouldn't have contested. How do you resolve this inconsistency?
Well, I had replied the man you quoted, and I think if you know the story of Nigeria, you will know that there are some people who exist for what we call AJIP, any government in power. They are comfortable with it. They don't care what... AJIP, yes, any government in power. That's what we call them. That's another
company in Nigeria.
Yes, so, but that's the, in politics, that's what we call them. they are just there to speak from both sides of the mouth. A party collected my party nomination, collected my nomination fees, and all that happened was that one day I opened the newspaper and the party said, we were not interested in fielding a candidate. So why did you collect my money?
That's why they said that they thought that you were not, they didn't think you were going to win an election.
The thing is, I don't like to cry over spilled milk. Those guys today, where are they? The chairman of the party, we met, the governor of Ondo State reconciled us. So I don't want to open old wounds. Let's look to the future.
Now back.
Anybody who says, I am not serious, you must know clearly
Is
that the person...
Is Basharu contesting again in 2015?
I don't know what will happen in 2015. I'm not God. But what I know is that the vision that drove me into that race, that vision is still very there intact.
You have been widely regarded as the president of Nigeria that Nigeria is yet to have. Do you think that Basharu has a lot to offer under his sleeves that he must contest again in 2015 and be the president?
You see, that's where I'm different from these guys you are mentioning. I had no ambition. It was a mission. It was a mission in politics. I want to change my country if my fellow citizens allow me. If they don't, I have a job. Look, since 2011, when I lost that election, I've been to Abuja only maybe 4 times. There are people who will live and die in Abuja because they are looking for position. I'm not looking for any position. I'm looking for an opportunity to serve Nigeria. It's service. You see,
your friend Ruben Abati is the media relations chairman, special advisor on media relations to the president. And if you were offered that same opportunity, wouldn't you have taken it?
I mean, without sounding immodest, I'm more than a presidential spokesman. I was born nearly 54...
Ruben Abati would disagree with you?
No, that's not true. I was born nearly 54 years ago. I joined politics in 1982. President Jonathan joined politics in 1998, 16 years after. When the president was teaching O-level, I'm sure I was teaching A-level. You see, part of the problem is, I told my friends in the media that we don't respect ourselves. Everybody was qualified to be the president of Nigeria except a publisher. A police officer contested, he had no problem. A customs officer contested, he had no problem. A teacher contested, but a publisher of international standing, you say is not qualified? I'll keep quiet.
Now, we take a look at the ongoing, seemingly endless imbroglio between the president and the governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi. Many people have seen your visits to him, the facility tour in Rivers State, as a unilateral endorsement of Amechi where the president was. Do you think that they are correct to have said that? They even say that you were paid millions of dollars.
Yeah, that one is normal. You can't hide millions of dollars these days. If you have millions of dollars, it will be seen by everybody. Anybody.
I'm seeing it on you.
By wearing this is worth about 10,000 naira, less than $100. Okay. You see, people don't understand it. My godfather used to say, it is not how much you have that matters. It is how you spend what you have. I can teach you how to live like a billionaire without having 1 million.
You mean MK Abiola or somebody else?
MK Abiola.
Okay.
You can live like a billionaire without having even 1 million. It's about being neat. Most times, you see, if God loves you, things will come to you naturally. All the designers, I can tell you, I can't remember the last time I bought a dress. All the designers give me things because I'm promoting them and I'm promoting the best of Nigeria. Everywhere I go, if you see me at Heathrow, if you see me at JF Kennedy in New York, this is how I dress most of the time. So they are happy that there is a Nigerian who is so proud of his country, who will turn out. So they give me things. The only thing I will buy once in a while will be shoes and maybe wristwatches and all that. So you see, some of us are different. I'm supposed to be a university scholar. It pains me when Nigerians or people think everybody is the same. No. I'm not bothered about all those things. You went to Amechi. Let me tell you something. I wrote an article about this governor. And someone from his state came and said, all the things we're talking about, they are not true. That Amechi is not doing anything in Rivers State. I'm a journalist to start with, apart from being a Nigerian. My job is to seek the truth. Even the Bible says, seek the truth and it shall set you free. So I called the man, I said, your people are saying you are not doing anything, that you are just wasting their money on politics. And he challenged me to come. I couldn't believe it, that he will even find the time to personally take me around the facilities. And what I saw, at a stage I had to bring out my iPad to take pictures. Because I had to convince myself that yes, those things were real. I saw primary schools in different parts of the place. I thought I was in London. I saw his model secondary schools. I've not seen any science laboratory anywhere better than what the man has put there. I went to his health facilities, to the hospitals. I'm not an illiterate. Even if you pay me 1 billion, I'm not going to turn black into white.
So if Amechi is doing all these things that you saw on your visit there, what is the problem between Amechi and the president?
I have no idea. Both of them should go into a bedroom and sort it out. Because the state is bleeding, the country is bleeding. I don't, you see, that's where I'm different. I'm non-partisan. Look, if I was desperate for power, I would either be in PDP or ACN or what they call APC now.
You could have gotten that kind of clout in the PDP.
Oh, trust me, I am very bold to say there is no party that will reject Dele Momodu. It's not possible. Look, in my private capacity as a Nigerian, I've never been in government. I've met probably more presidents than an average politician anywhere in Africa.
Don't forget you left the Labour Party to NCP. And
that's to tell you how principled I am, because I had to look.
Wait,
you see, Nigeria is the only country where people don't talk about principle, they don't talk about ideology. You can't be in a party, most parties in Nigeria, you cannot distinguish between A and B. I was in Labour Party because I wanted to use the platform of Labour to change Nigeria. I wanted a social welfare system for Nigeria. Tell me, what is the system we're practicing in Nigeria now? Is it capitalism? Is it socialism? Is it social welfare? You can't practice capitalism without capital. The way we're running the nation now,
you can't practice
capitalism without capital.
We go for a short commercial break. We'll be right back. You're welcome back to International Focus on Nigeria with me, Green Ndume. Now, still speaking to Basharu Dele Momodu, multiple award-winning Nigerian journalist and writer, one-time presidential candidate of the NCP. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Now, let's take a look at your magazine, a world-class magazine, Ovation magazine. Started in 1996 up till this day. Now, the quality has not changed. It has consistently increased over the years. People have still continued to wonder, how has Basharu been able to achieve this trait up till now, 1996?
Well, thank you for the compliment. Now people are going to say I paid you for it, so you know how it feels.
Oh, you never paid me.
Okay, great. You know, the thing is, from the very beginning, my vision was to produce a world-class magazine. I believe that if you are going to go into any business, any trade whatsoever, if you are not going to make any difference, don't bother. Every day people come, oh, we want to do an Ovation magazine. If you want to do it, then you must check it out and see that you can improve on what we are already doing. If you can't do that, then you won't succeed. You will fail from day one. When we started the magazine, an average magazine in Nigeria sold for about 20 naira. When we started, we sold for 150. And people say, they are not going to buy it. I said, no, it's about content and quality. Everything you do in life, if you give people the content and the quality, they will pay for it. Today, we sell probably the most expensive magazine in the entire world. I don't know of any magazine that sells for 10 pounds. That's the equivalent of Ovation in Naira, 2,500. And we don't have enough to sell because the readers just love it. I've been with the same printers in Enfield in England 14 out of 17 years. That's how consistent we have been. We have stretched our printers now to their very limit. They've been in exam for 41 years. We're printing 364 pages every month. I mean, I don't know of any magazine around here that is doing that.
What Now, it's quite interesting that um, um, intending publishing entrepreneurs out there get to know the resilience that you had to garner to put up this kind of quality up to now.
Well, the thing is, if you are thinking about profit and loss, you can't go into magazine business. I call it the ultimate casino. You have to be a gambler of sorts to be able to go into any media business, even the one you are doing now. Because there are too many variables. You can put a man you consider to be the best celebrity on your cover and you will not sell. That's number one. Number two, you cannot make money from selling on the streets. Out of 2,500, we're going to give about 1,000 to the boys on the streets. Okay, that's number one. After you've removed 1,000, then you look at your production costs, you look at your printing costs, you look at your freight costs. You have to cargo it from London. London to New York is about 6-7 hours. London to Nigeria is about 6-7 hours. We're also doing the French version, so we have to take from Lagos.
Yeah, because I understand
we're surrounded.
That's the only the first bilingual.
I don't think we're the first, but I know we do our own. So really, I look at it like a long distance runner. When you are running, you have to go at your own pace. Don't look at who is coming behind you, otherwise you will lose your stamina and then you may fall. So what we are doing is to produce what we think will be good for our readers. And we've been doing that for over 17 years.
I want to think that the June 12th election and the subsequent occurrences which led to you escaping through the border as a farmer to Togo, to Benin, to Togo and to Ghana, and then subsequently to the UK. You profited from it.
No.
That is how you came to set up Ovation Magazine.
It was divine. It was divine. It was God at work. When I left Nigeria, if you left Nigeria the way I did, you will know that it was not a profit. I could have died. When I crossed semi-border into Cotonou, I looked back at my country. I was crying. And I was asking, I was going through what we call the stream of consciousness in literature, asking different questions. My country, will I see you again? Where am I going from here? What will I do when I get there? I had no answers. I had a wife, a young wife, and a son who was under 1 year old. And I had to enter the bush in the middle of the night. I had to disguise because the security guys must not arrest me. If they arrested me, I would have been charged with treason, which was punishable by death. But God saw that I did it out of genuine love for my country. So God compensated me. Profit is when you decidedly go out to seek wealth. When I got to London, I didn't even know what to do. For 3 months, until that's why it's good to listen to people. A young man called me one day, my cousin, Shegun Fatoye. He said, bros, what are you going to be doing in London for a living? I said, I don't know. He said, why won't you know? You will end up being a security man if you are not careful. He told me to my face. And I said, oh no, it's not my portion. God will not do that for me. He said, then think of what to do. You were a journalist back home. Why don't you try and set up something? That was how the idea came. But the next problem with setting up a business is funding. And I asked, so where am I going to get the money from? He said, bros, let's do a business plan. You must see what is chasing you before you start running. So we sat down, did our business plan. We needed about £150,000 to start the quality of magazine we wanted to do. But if you sold my family from first generation to the last generation, there was no way I could come up with that kind of money. But we had this abundant faith that could move mountains. Trust me, what we did was like moving mountains. I went to my bank manager at the National Westminster Bank. The woman said, no, we can't give you a loan because you have no history.
How much are we talking about here?
£150,000 only. But we couldn't raise it. We managed at the end of the day to raise about £20,000. My uncle gave me about 10,000. I sold a few rickety things I had back home, and then a few friends came together. Because unknown to people, I had never been a rich man. I'm a thoroughbred professional. Till this day, money is not my priority. My priority is to leave a legacy. That is why those who come into the business thinking they can make profit, they fail. If you go into any business and all that concerns you is profit, instead of putting all your energy, all your creativity into it, you are going to fail. Go and check every copy of Ovation. It's a work of art and probably science. We had to put so much into it. As I'm talking to you now, there are people working in the office. There are designers.
Yeah, because that's one thing that I also want us to look at. You have offices in, I understand, in over 6 countries in the world. Now, how do you manage to do this? Because I know that before I was able to get you for this interview, a few days ago, you were not in town. You were not in Ghana. I know how much we had to keep trying to get.
You see, it depends on what you are doing with the offices. That's another thing people don't know. A lot of people in Nigeria will say, oh, he ran away to Ghana. I didn't run away to Ghana. 80% of my action, my activity is in Lagos, Abuja, and all over the place. You see, but what we have done is like what Coca-Cola has done. They are everywhere in the world. I want Ovation to be a magazine that people can read everywhere in the world. That's why we call it Ovation International.
Was it just about the incident that, and I'm thinking, I want us to get this right. Was it just about the incident that made you leave Nigeria? Now, isn't your success in the print industry all over the world has something to do with your Nigerianness? Does it have something to do with that?
Well, I believe Nigerians are naturally adventurous, Nigerians are naturally brilliant, and Nigerians are tenacious. Nigerians will survive anywhere. Throw them into the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. They will survive.
Do you have any regrets being a Nigerian?
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm comfortable everywhere.
Is there any other country in the world? Now, I want to know that country where you prefer to come from apart from Nigeria.
No. Nigeria is my #1 country. Of course, I have other countries that I embrace, but Nigeria is always #1.
Because of time, we will not be able to finish this interview with Bashorun Dele Momodu. We will continue again, this same interview again in the next edition. Thank you very much for speaking to International Focus on Nigeria, Chief Dele Momodu. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, sir.